Ми будемо розпочинати. Доброго дня, шановні колеги, учасники науково-педагогічних стажувань, які відбуваються на базі Литовського бізнес-коледжу міста Клайпеда та Литовська Республіка. Щиро раді вас вітати на сьогоднішньому нашому заході, який відбувається за всебічної підтримки Литовського бізнес-коледжу. Ми розпочали співпрацю як Центр українсько-європейського наукового співробітництва з цим закладом в минулому році, і нам дуже приємно, що сьогодні у нас відбувається перший захід і перша лекція представника Литовського бізнес-коледжу. Я із задоволенням передаю слово сьогоднішньому спікеру Аеліті Скарбалене, кандидату наук, доценту, старшому науковому співробітнику та члену Національної ради охорони здоров'я Литви. Вона спеціалізується на питаннях якості медичної допомоги та психосоціальних аспектів охорони здоров'я, лідерства, емоційний інтелект, комунікація тощо, а також на впливі різних методів лікування на психологічний стан людини. Тема лекції – емоційний інтелект, як розпізнавати, керувати емоціями. Аеліта, please speak.
Good morning. Still the morning here in Klaipėda, in Lithuania, and in Ukraine as well. It's my honor to be here with you to share my knowledge, my insights on emotional intelligence. Hopefully, my English will be understandable for you. However, I leave a few minutes after the lecture for questions, for your opinions, for your insights as well. Thank you for your nice presentation of me. I'll try to share my screen. I'll try to do the full screen. Okay, maybe other way. Sorry. No. Okay, just for not wasting time, maybe this screen will be enough, and you can see because
Yes, we see.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So let's begin from the start. And thanks for introducing me. It was really nice, full presentation. What I want to stress that emotional competences, leadership, communication, and interaction between these competences is both what I teach and what I research, both in Lithuania, in other countries. I have many scientific publications with colleagues from different European countries. Also, I validated instrument for measuring emotional competences in Lithuania, and this is really one of my biggest interests. So I can speak about emotional intelligence and emotional competences till the next morning, but we have only 40 minutes. So it's really a challenge for me to put a lot of knowledge into such a short time. And besides, I don't know your knowledge and competences in this. So I really did my best to say the key things, beginning with the most important definitions, with myths and discussions in society about emotional intelligence. That helps to better myths and facts, helps better understand what we are talking about, and then I'll share how we can split emotional intelligence in order to measure and evaluate it, because that is practical knowledge, for practical application, and then I'll give some tips how you can begin with management of emotions for better well-being and mental health. So most of us has a general idea of what it means to be in a good mood or in a bad mood, but it's really difficult for people to explain the difference between moods, feelings, and emotions, and sometimes they get those definitions get messy. So I want to show these definitions in one slide. So first of all, emotions come, and those are the sensations of our physical body. Usually they are instinctive, gut response before mental processing their instincts. And that's why it's difficult to control and manage them, because they are controlled by chemicals our brains release in response to a trigger or the event. Basically, it's our everyday's body's response to what is happening around us. Then, when our brain starts processing emotions, feelings come. And the feelings are the mental portrayal of what is going in the body physically when we experience some emotions. And feelings usually are based on our unique experience, some past memories, our beliefs, etc. And the mood is really general feeling. It's a state of mind that can even influence our thoughts, behaviors, and actions, and sometimes emotions comes out of a mood. Moods usually are less intensive than emotions, and what is the main difference between emotions and mood? That emotions, they always, both good or bad, positive and negative emotions, they have trigger, and moods usually don't have any triggers. They comes out of thoughts after mental processing. So, however, emotions, feelings, and moods, they all work together every day, and they impact how we perceive world, environment, and what is happening around us. And actually, that is quite messy, and it's not always easy to manage and to cope with all these things. And I met many people who said, okay, I can't change anything, I don't care, and they just let emotions, feelings, and moods to take over. But if emotions are left unmanaged and uncontrolled, they can have serious effects, and really saw those effects in practice. People with a knowledge and unaccepted, unmanaged emotions, they develop substance abuse disorders. They always get into anxiety and even panic attacks, depression, and another mental health challenges. And that is harmful for themselves, but for people who surrounds them, harmful is because such a people, they express their emotions also in an unhealthy way and just hurt people around them. So management of the emotions, control of the emotions, they are make positive effect both for person himself or herself and for people who live, work around. However, sometimes get a question, are emotions then needed if they can be harmful? And the answer is sure, yes, emotions are needed, because sometimes emotions are even called as the engine of civilization. They foster progress, they foster changes. Because if a person is unhappy with something, if something around him in the environment causes negative emotions, usually person tries to change something in order not to have those emotions and those triggers. And if person knows that something, some triggers causes positive emotions, he or she wants to have those positive emotions and thus the progress, both technological, environmental, etc., etc., etc. So that is the reason why so many attention is paid to emotions, emotional intelligence, and emotional competences recently all around the world. It's not just some countries, but all around the world, emotional intelligence and competences are really of big interest. To help you to understand what emotional intelligence is, I want to give some key definitions, key things, because there's a lot of definitions, a lot of speculations even about emotional intelligence, but I want to show you really the main points of it. So the person is called emotionally intelligent if he or she is capable to be aware of, control, express the emotions, to handle interpersonal relationships, and be empathetic. Emotional intelligence is proved to be a key to both personal and professional success. I will talk about that a bit later. If we try to compare IQ, that is cognitive intelligence, with emotional intelligence, I can say that having high IQ does not automatically indicate having high level of intelligent competence, emotional intelligence. But having high emotional intelligence may indicate that person is high or at least average in IQ, and that predict better success. Sure, having, sometimes people ask, do I need them both? Okay, it's everyone's choice, but I can say that having higher IQ, that is cognitive intelligence, can predict better academic success, better position based on knowledge, but it may not necessarily lead to success, professional success and being effective. Emotional intelligence have to be helps to be more effective and to demonstrate the knowledge. And what is the evidence for emotional intelligence? Sometimes people also say, I think that is a kind of magic and some X factor that no one can describe what it is. But it is described emotional intelligence nowadays is evidence-based. There are many scientific research from different fields of science. And most of experts agreed that evidence are real and proves the emotional intelligence because the scores and results of emotional intelligence can predict also other measurable outcomes of a person in a similar way than IQ. And emotional intelligence correlates with positive relationship, higher level of leadership, of personal happiness, and success in both professional and personal life. However, if you already are interested in emotional intelligence, or if you find it interesting after today's lecture and start reading some literature, I believe you'll find many myths about emotional intelligence, and I want to explain you some, whether they are true or not, and give facts that are research-based. The first popular myth that emotional intelligence is innate. You have it or you don't, and you cannot do anything about that. The fact is that some people, they naturally have a stronger social and emotional understanding, inner feeling about that. But it is proved that emotional intelligence can be learned, can be practiced, and can be developed. It's like a talent. Sometimes they are compared that some people can be born with a high level of some talent, but that they do nothing in life and it just flows. But some people, they can be born with lower level of talent, but put much effort and have great results. The same situation is about emotional intelligence as well. What was really helpful about a decade ago, emotional intelligence was split into competences, and that was proved in several research where about 50,000 persons participated to prove this idea, and the main competences were revealed, and we all know that competences, they are made from knowledge and skills, and they can be practiced to develop those. So if emotional competences, they are called this way, it means that they can be learned and then they can be developed. Another myth about emotional intelligence that it's just some kind of being simply empathetic, and it's simply just understanding other people's emotions. But the fact is that emotional intelligence, it is much more deeper definition, and emotional intelligence always starts with ourselves. We need to understand ourselves, then it is possible to understand something, someone else. So we start with identification of our own emotions, with understanding of triggers, what brings positive or negative emotions. We need to be aware of. We need to learn how emotions are expressed, how to regulate them, how to use them in life, and only after that, then this knowledge can be adopted when dealing with other people. Of course, I met many people who better understand other people than themselves. I also teach at the Faculty of Medicine. I work with future physicians and nurses. Some of them already practices and come for postgraduate studies. And I'm mentioning this because those are professions where people take care of other people, and it's a must for them to understand. But when they test their emotional competences, I always meet the situation that understanding other people, that is interpersonal understanding of them, is higher than understanding themselves. They say, okay, I'm just that kind of person. Maybe if I wouldn't understand other people, I couldn't work in my position. But what is dangerous, that not paying attention and not be aware of own competences brings the situation with all the mental illnesses and mental challenges, because people just cannot pay attention to own feeling for some time, but if not dealing with emotions and feelings in some period of time, it usually brings really difficult situations. So hopefully you agree with me that emotional intelligence is not only understanding other people, and it's not just being empathetic. Okay, let's move to one more myth. I mentioned it a little bit. Some people manipulate and say that emotional intelligence is the most important indicator of professional success. Okay, I believe that the discussion will last forever. I had one even yesterday. So the thing is that emotional competences, they are valuable in many fields and can help both in professional and personal life. But it's not the most important factor if we think about long-term success. Technical knowledge, functional knowledge, it doesn't matter in which field. They always are the foundation and the requirement for any job, interest in the industry, or even cake baking at home. Okay, but emotional competences, they are important because they help to use and apply technical knowledge and experience in different environments. They help to better find what motivates people to work with technical skills. I can give you example. Probably you also know some computer persons, IT persons. From my own experience, usually they are very quiet people. It's difficult for them to communicate. Usually they are smart, but they can work only with computer. And what I can see that a lot of their knowledge in this way, they are not applied and not used because they cannot communicate properly and offer how this knowledge can bring new production and be applied. That's why strong IT companies, they have good managers who can be the intermediate level between the customer and the IT guys, programmers, okay, to communicate with both sides. So if person want to have the higher level of success, both doesn't matter, professional, personal life, both intelligence are important and are essence for just holistic. That is the holistic approach and holistic need. And okay, another myth. It's very popular and many people make fun of it, but sometimes it is said that women are more emotionally intelligent than a man. Funny discussions out of that, but the fact is that there are, I mentioned that there are competences, there are different measures, and just different men and women, they are different in them. Some studies, some scientific research show that, for example, men are better in coping with stressful situations, but women can be more empathetic and can better understand other people. So it just different competences, different components of emotional intelligence, and different situations between men and women. My own research showed, again, the research where more than 2,000 people participated, really equal men and women. I measured emotional competences, both personal and interpersonal. My results show that there was statistical difference only in 1 out of 10 competences in management of other people. Emotions, men were a bit stronger, but no real and important differences in another competences. But understanding our weaknesses and strong sides is always important. It's the essence for effective development of those of the competences. What bothers me more than these myths that I mentioned to you, and what others that left unmentioned, that when talking about emotional intelligence, the main thing that is stressed always, it's even in the title of this lecture, it's regulation and management of the emotions. How ever, management is just the fourth step of the competences. And let's take a look at the all emotional competences, and I even call them steps. If you see, the regulation is only here, and we have other steps. And without these steps, we cannot come to management or regulating. So the first step of being emotionally intelligent is the identification of emotions. That is ability to perceive emotion when it appears and to identify it. So when we have the trigger and we experience something, it's important to know. I mentioned that emotions, that is body response. So in order to be effective and in order to regulate, we already need to learn from our body reaction, not from the feelings that come to our head when after mental processing, but when the body feels something. And that is the process that is really difficult to monitor and to understand. And it's the hard work with person, with himself or herself. Another problem is that people don't know enough words to call emotions. If in many countries, I met people, if they see, if you ask how you feel, it's bad, good, or normal. But bad, good, or normal, they are not emotions. There is something under these words. So already a tip from me, try to collect vocabulary of emotions and find out what can be applied to you. Then another step after identification of emotions is expression of own emotions in socially accepted manner. I believe you all have been in situations when that people cannot express emotions properly. It can be really nice and good emotions, but in the environment where they are not acceptable, when maybe someone is too sad, or every one of us saw others people anger, just expressed all over around and bringing other people into negative emotions and feelings. That is not socially accepted, but it's normal to feel anger. It's just a thing of controlling expressions and not being harmful to people around. Then understanding emotions is the third step, and that is the skill to understand the causes and consequences of emotions, to find the triggering factors. Okay, if you know that one or another thing or subject or situation triggers you, you can be prepared in advance if that is negative emotions needed. If you know that some triggers cause you positive emotions, you very consciously can you bring them into life when you need to be in a positive emotion. So it's important to understand the triggers that cause your negative and positive emotion, and only only then we can come to management or regulation of the emotions. So when we know what we feel, when we feel, how our body responds to that, we can start regulating. That is changing positive attitude and consciously developing positive emotions to overcome negative ones. And the top step of emotional competences is using the emotions. That is the skill, actually the skill that can be successfully trained about the using of emotions to improve some actions, to motivate other people, and to get the result that is needed. So these are competences, and hopefully from how I presented them, you can see that yes, they can be learned and trained. Okay. Of course, that is not a one-day training. That is just everyday training and working with yourself. But as I mentioned before, it can be successfully trained, and it has good impact both for you and for your environment. And as I promised, some tips for you. They are also research-based. They are, I tried all of them. I give them to my students, and they train and come with feedback. So I know that they are really, they work. So the main things: acknowledge your emotions and don't suppress them. Just understand that every emotion is natural part of life, both positive and negative. And if you suppress emotions, they will lead many mental problems, if not today, so after a while, and they can cause even some issues to physical not only mental, but on the physical level. That is what is called psychosomatic diseases. And also they can cause the most often anxiety, depression, sleep disorders, some pains in the physical body, stress, and different substance abuse. So first of all, try to name what you feel. That already helps because you stop and you think. You bring your thinking and mental processing to another topic. You don't let process the what is triggering you, but you already think about what you feel, and that usually helps to stop. Plus, if you identify what you feel, you can manage it, because you cannot manage if you don't know what to manage. Then accept your emotions. Accepting and acknowledging is not the same thing. Accepting is understanding that they are that emotions exist, and you can't go out of them. And if you understand that emotions are part of your life, you will have self-motivation and learning how to manage them and be comfortable with them. Then important thing is to breathe. Okay, we know that our physical body is related with our mental body. And if we experience intense emotions, both positive and negative, our mind just races to some direction. But slow and deep breathing, conscious breathing, help us get back to life and calm. They said that is the simple biology. Because when you breathe slowly and deeply, it reminds your brain that you are not in danger. Okay? How can you be in danger if you breathe slowly? Because if you were, you'd likely be running away and full of adrenaline and out of breath. You know how you breathe when the adrenaline goes up. So breathing reminds our body that our mind that we are safe, and then our brain can think in a proper way, in the way we need for solving one or another problem. Breathing also helps to redirect your attention. Again, in stressful situation, the most important thing is the redirection of attention and calming for some time. It focuses the mind of the body rather than on the emotions. Then one more tip, learn how and when properly express yourself. It doesn't matter what emotions we experience, we need to find a healthy ways for expressing them. And that is really a strong educational thing, sorry, because people who surround us, they see that emotions can be expressed in a proper way, they learned, and then that develops really positive environment and better understanding of people. And I want to remind one more, then it's very important to learn what triggers you. That's how you can be prepared to meet negative situations and negative emotions, and you can consciously find or develop triggers that makes you happy, and people who surrounds you, you can find triggers that makes them happy as well. So it's a circle. Okay. So our time comes to an end. And I want to come to the summary and summarize what was said, that suppressing emotions and feelings is like swimming against the tide. It leaves out of breath, it leaves tired, and that is dangerous both for mental being and for physical well-being. And it's easier to go with the flow, to accept emotions, acknowledge emotions, and just run through that. And emotional regulation is always difficult, but if person finds motivation why it is needed for him or her, it is the first step in training, self-training of the management of emotions. So I wish, hopefully, you agree, especially after today, with me that emotional regulation is needed, that no one but you can train yourself and find the really what training suits you best, and you will not let the feelings and emotions take over you and your life. So thank you very much for your attention. It was nice to see that people are interested, that you marked some, took notes from what I said, and still, if we have some time, I'd be happy to answer your questions or hear the comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
I see in the chat the request to send the presentation. I believe that yes, it is possible. And as you saw, I tried to put some written information there for easier to understand what I say and to save that for later. Yes, I'll find a way to share. Okay. So if no questions are coming, then I guess that it is. So I wish you a very nice day, nice upcoming summer. And hopefully we can meet in other.
Maybe I have got one question.
Sure.
Tell us, hi, my name is Natalie. Tell us, please, have you got other presentation, maybe YouTube or anywhere in other platform?
No, not really.
Not really.
I have scientific papers, but not
only scientific articles. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Natalie.
Have a good day.
Yes. Have a good day. Thank you for your attention. Bye.
Thank you.
Good day. And one more question.
Sure.
May I ask it?
Sure.
How can you define a notion of emotional intelligence in short way, just in some words, please? Thank you.
The tough question, because it's so many definitions and notions, but I guess my understanding and the most shortest notion would be just that emotional intelligence is personal and interpersonal identification, expression, understanding, regulation, and using of emotions.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so maybe you are braver now after 2 questions. Will someone come with a question again? No, I guess no. So it was nice meeting you, being here with you, and just have a nice day.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.